Everybody watching this documentary, I want you guys to take away and come away with, I am not what the fuck they say that I am. I'm a strong ass motherfucking soldier, and none of you fucking faggots can break my ass because I'm still standing, bitch.
Last week, filmmaker Mike Klum dropped his recent documentary on EDP, a known PDF file on YouTube. It has garnered over 5 million views. The numbers speak for themselves. What's interesting to me, though, is how the internet claims to hate PDF files so aggressively while supporting them all the same.
I mean, what the fuck makes 18 so goddamn magical? I have no fucking clue. You talk to a 17-year-old chick, she just turned 18 5 seconds ago. Okay, well, guess what, man? She's still the same dumbass bitch that she was 5 seconds ago.
Jesus Christ, bro. Bro, I'm not even joking, bro. Like, I'm genuinely so confused. Is he a or not? Why does everyone forget that he's a Nah, like, what?
So I messaged her. She's like, I'm only 16. I was like, give a fuck. Know about me. I'm 21. I don't care.
Performative, suspect humor.
I don't know why I did that, by the way. I would never do that now. See, like, I did change because, bro, that's disgusting, dude. Aiden, why would you ever sniff a grown man? Like, bro, I would never do that ever again. I put on my life. Andrew should have came back and smacked me in the fucking face.
I want to make an argument that men on the internet actually do support them. They just don't like EDP specifically because he doesn't fit a narrative that allows them to justify attraction to children.
I was like 18 and she was 16. So I was like, what's the problem? And they're like, oh yeah, but you're a member of staff. Da, da, da.
You want $5 grand? Where's more money? Oh my God.
EDP is incredibly unlikable unless you watch Mike Klum's documentary, and then he's kind of funny.
We got Asmongold. Looked like he saw a fucking ghost. Matter of fact, fuck a ghost. What you need to see is a goddamn cleaning service to clean that dirty ass, junky ass motherfucking house.
This allows the audience members to hate EDP for being gross, but also to giggle a little bit at his comedic timing.
Hoes right the fuck here are the exact reason why this world is fucked and men disrespect the living shit out of fucking women.
Imagine being a girl gamer who loses every game.
It's just she.
She deleted you? I'm sorry, was that toxic?
This is exactly how charismatic predators end up garnering an audience and supporters. They use humor as a way to disarm you and to remind you that they're just a guy. They're a funny guy. This is actually a technique that Trump and Andrew Tate use quite often. And it's one that boys fall for all the time. And to be honest, so do girls. Honestly, so does everybody. Because everybody likes to laugh. And when someone's funny, you feel relaxed.
I don't know. He's so funny all around.
So I think it's really interesting how passionate men can be on the internet while claiming to hate PDF files, while also endorsing them, following them, retweeting them, and making memes about them.
And I'll tell you about TikTok. Trump is going to keep TikTok going.
My goal with this video is to actually help you realize and recognize all of us, and especially men in these bubbles who make these men famous. We, in our mind, hate predators and racists and horrible people, but then we end up supporting them. And a big part of it is because they're charismatic and we fall for it. So in one ways, we're kind of victims to their charisma, and in other ways, we're enablers to their bigotry.
I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. Can do anything. Grab them by the you can do anything, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
True with stars that they can grab women by the
Well, that's what it's, if you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
On this channel, we do philosophy through pop culture. Human beings are evolved animals on the planet. We're all going to be hypocrites at some time. But I think the goal here is to challenge ourselves and ask ourselves, if we say we hate PDF files, how could you vote for Trump? If you say this is what your belief is, how do you do this thing over here? And this is the hardest part about being a person and being introspective, is it's kind of an embarrassing process. You have to look at yourself and realize, like, oh, I did that thing. I fell for this narrative. I engaged in this bigotry. I embraced this prejudice that I had inside me, and then I hurt people because of it. Recently, a YouTuber called Overzealots, he has 2 channels. He was recently revisiting some of his old content, and he was aghast at his past content, how he had thought he was so anti-military until the Harris Tim Walz situation happened, and then he found himself defending Walz's time in the military because Republicans were trying to slander him so badly.
From Alex Jones to Rush Limbaugh calling milquetoast liberals communists, and so
you're a milquetoast liberal. Like, this is what I mean, bro. How do I hold these contradictory beliefs? How am I out here glazing fucking Operation Enduring Freedom while simultaneously saying that the Iraq War was bad, while simultaneously calling other people milquetoast liberals?
You know, like I don't know. I feel like it's the first world left wing conundrum.
Yeah.
Where like they know these systems are bad, but like the soldiers, the people who do it, they can't be bad. They have to be good because we were taught they were good, and like people tell us they're good. So you know they have to personally be good.
I actually think,
you know, it's like I mean.
I actually think I deserve to go to a gulag for this video.
I think this is very human. A lot of us find ourselves in positions, I certainly have, of even arguing points I don't believe in because I see the injustice of the way the other side is going after people that don't deserve it, or they're attacking them for the wrong reasons. Because it's one thing for an anti-military leftist to criticize Tim Walz's time in the military. It's another thing for a Republican pro-military person to do it. So when we have conversations about how we're criticizing PDF files, we have to ask ourselves where are we even coming from in the first place. And I also think it goes to show you that the concept of what a predator looks like is not some scary man in a bush. It's just your friend or your brother or a relative or a politician. It's just a guy. And guy here, for the sake of this conversation, probably means man, but generally all human beings of all genders can be predators. It's just statistics are showing right now. And I think because patriarchy makes predators, men will feel entitled to people's bodies, and therefore statistically men will be more likely to be predatory. It's not to say that women can't be, it's to say that right now, with the way society has socialized gender, we are socializing people to be predatory.
Indicated that she loved it. Okay, she loved it until commercial break. In fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy to be raped. Didn't she say that?
So, sir, I just want to confirm, it's your testimony that E. Jean Carroll said that she loved being sexually assaulted by you?
Well, based on her interview with Anderson Cooper, I believe that's what took place.
If you tell a man that he's entitled to a woman's body, if you show people romantic films in which a man lies his way into a woman's heart, then younger boys will watch this and internalize this as the way they're supposed to script their life. And then girls on the other side will also internalize this and say, okay, I guess this is how a man loves me, is by lying and deceiving me. And if he's funny enough and charismatic enough and handsome enough, then I guess it doesn't matter.
He's here.
Even if he's someone... I'm Damon Bradley. She never imagined. It's a first...
You're here.
Yes, I'm here.
You're here.
I'm very real. About a love that was written in the stars and rewritten here on Earth. I have a confession to make. My name's not Damon Bradley.
What?
It's Peter Wright. Marissa Tomei.
How could you do this to me?
Because I'm in love with you.
What kind of an excuse is that?
Robert Downey Jr.
You said whatever it was you'd understand.
Before I knew I was.
Please do not let her go.
I hate him. You're crazy about him.
Faith, I was afraid of losing you.
I don't believe in anything anymore. I don't believe in destiny or magic or men.
You're nuts about me.
Hey,
Peter. We're made for each other.
Only you.
Which is why I say to you, the same men that say they hate EDP will absolutely fangirl for Andrew Tate.
If you were looking at all the people that got caught for being a p on YouTube, EDP is at the top of the list. He is the face of being a p on YouTube. Like, if you think about p on YouTube, you're thinking about EDP 445.
I was like, hey, what's up, EDP? And he's like, what's up? And he puts his hand out for a fist bump, and I give him a fist bump.
Shit was about to go down.
And he's like, I'm just here to get a cupcake.
They had the transcripts, they had the logs, they had the screenshots and all that shit.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home.
The EDP 445 situation.
Still EDP 445.
EDP 445.
EDP 445.
EDP.
Went to go link up with a child. When EDP got caught and the video got uploaded, it went viral immediately.
The memes blew up. They were all over the place. There was no escaping the EDP 445 cupcake memes.
Keem, so I made a statement before. I don't know if you agree with this or not. I said Keemstar is the original Andrew Tate. What's your thoughts on that statement? I feel like there was a lot of similarities. Like, you really didn't give a fuck what people thought of you. You advocated for free speech. Of course, not like 100%. You guys are similar, right? You were getting canceled heavily. You didn't really care. I feel like that's very similar to Andrew Tate.
I just always say what I think, and I don't really care the repercussions. I just always just do and say what I think, and you know, it's like we online, in the online world, you know, everyone's obsessed with being liked, right?
Yeah.
They want to be loved. They want to be liked. They want the audience to think highly of them. I just always want to be viewed.
So what's your thoughts on Andrew Tate himself? Are you a fan?
I would say yeah. In some sense, yeah. I'm a fan of Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate, a man who is actually engaged sexually with minors, who brags about it all the time. EDP, not to compare him or make him sound any better, EDP, as far as we knew in this documentary, had never actually engaged physically with a minor, and he's still disgusting. Now you take it a step further, Andrew Tate has actually admitted and bragged to having sex with children, and yet he still has fans. And like I said, the same fans who will say EDP is disgusting will turn around and absolutely support Andrew Tate and or Donald Trump. I think for a lot of us, it's not surprising, but I do need to say it again and again and again. Like in all good philosophy, we'll be having the same conversations forever. This is another conversation we'll be having. Power dynamics, predatory behavior, charismatic influence, things that people use, predatory people use to sort of seem like not that scary. And to be honest, most people who are predatory aren't exactly scary as much as they are charismatic. I really believe this. Now, of course, if you push them too far, they will definitely show a scary side. But most people get swept away by the charisma, so they never have to reveal the truly like ugly underneath. But it is there and it does exist, which is kind of what we saw in the documentary with EDP, where he just doubled down on his disgusting behavior. But again, not so different from Andrew Tate, who also doubles down, and Trump, who also doubles down. Are we seeing a theme? These men with their full chest double down on their degenerate behavior, and that's what creates a sort of normal feeling.
If you were to take every man on earth and put them in order of people I would most want to see have sex with my wife, all the way over to like the least, he's essentially going to be the last guy.
We have a lot more in common than we have separating us, because believe it or not, the Matrix has been out to get me too. So
has it? Tell me how.
Bro, they've been trying to cancel me for years, all kinds of made up assault bullshit and everything under the sun. The same exact playbook that they've been using to try to take you out the game. So you may disagree with some of our sexual proclivities, but believe me and Andrew Tate, we're victims of the same struggle. Shout out to Tupac.
And I think once you get to a certain level of fame and influence, every single man's going to be hit with this. I mean, the reason Aiden hasn't been hit by it is because it's just so unbelievable. Everyone knows Aiden's fucking full of shit.
I literally have, though, bro. I got canceled like 30 times, bro. 30 times.
For hanging around with chicks? They said you like had sex with a girl or whatever. You got sexual assault.
No, nothing like that. Thank God I haven't had that.
What I mean. Yeah, because everyone knows you're not getting laid, so that's fine. But when you're an actually high status male, it's pretty clear.
What are you?
That happens.
Whatever, bro.
Because it is sort of common in a sense. If all these men are doing it, if all these men are saying, oh, men find teenagers attractive, then there is something in the water, right, that makes it normal, meaning common, that these men are finding teenagers attractive. But again, I'm not a bioessentialist, so I'm not saying men are biologically inclined to like teenagers. That's not my argument. My argument is that I do think patriarchy as a system trains men to feel entitled, and then on top of it they add some sort of religious purity politics, which then makes the men feel entitled to virgins, and then that plays into everything that we see throughout society, right? This desire for a woman who's never been touched, and also on the flip side, men who are experienced. So it's like, okay, well, who are you getting this experience with? This is the fresh and fit dilemma.
I tell guys you need to have multiple chicks, bro. Like, that's one of the best kind of self-correcting methods, and the reason why, before everyone gets all mad, because a bunch of people reacted to me on this, like, ooh, because I said you need to bang like 50 girls before you even think about getting in a serious relationship. Do you want a man who's more sexually experienced than you, or do you want to be more sexually experienced than your man? Every single girl said they want a man more sexually experienced. Then that's when I said, exactly, that's why I need a 50 bitch. Average women nowadays, regular girls, modern day women, have way more bodies than average dudes. How the hell are you going to go ahead and commit to a girl that probably has 20, 30, 40 bodies and you have like one or two? So I want guys to have the leverage, have the sexual experience, and be in a leadership role with the leverage with the woman, because when women have leverage, they're terrible people. People get mad at me for saying that, but they literally are terrible people.
Body count matters, ladies. If you're a hoe, you are a hoe by definition. And men are not hoes, we are hoe makers. That's the reality.
Men should have multiple hundreds of partners and women should have zero. And it's like, okay, but then who are you having sex with? Now, obviously, we might think, oh, with each other. But of course, these men are not gay and they're not having sex with each other. They're having sex with women that are lost. They're having sex with women that are beneath them.
In general, girls that come from broken homes typically tend to have very bad habits. Girls that don't have a father in their life typically tend to have bad habits.
So then when these women turn around and say that they've been abused or bring up the toxicity of the relationship, these men say, oh, well, these women are whores. They were willing to sleep with me. And then other people start attacking these women and say, yeah, like if you're willing to sleep with them, you must be just as bad as these men. And then the cycle just continues and continues and continues. And so if we want to stop the cycle, we have to be able to be accountable, and we have to be able to see how these boys went from being infants to predators, because it is a part of society's obligation, I believe, to attempt to raise children to be better, caring, loving people. Because again, it's not just their parents, it's not just their friends, it's not just them as individuals, it's all of us as a collective. Because as this documentary hit, and it got millions of views within a week, millions, the theme throughout the documentary was not to honor the victim. If anything, the victim was thrown under the bus.
No, she didn't Photoshop a goddamn thing. She literally sent me fucking nudes of her fucking tits. I feel like she's a fucking scam artist. I feel like she's a bitch. I feel like she's very stuck up. She's very conniving.
So I'd like to let the viewers know that I don't know what they're gonna say, but don't believe it. Because I have proof. I'm just too scared to show the proof because Jadion has a big audience, and I don't want them to attack me.
The point of the documentary was to be entertaining, was to be funny. Throughout the documentary, it featured very unsavory characters, even predators within themselves, and it was supposed to be like a tongue-in-cheek irony, but it just ended up making all these people recognizable. It ended up making them household names.
The man's brain doesn't fully function. He is, by all definition...
Why is Boogie there? Why is Boogie there? What?
mentally retarded.
Well, just my thoughts on EDP 445 and what he did. Just
Christian! Why is Christian here? I'm so confused. What is I am in hell? Somebody gave me shrooms and I am having a bad fucking trip. This is the most chronically online video, and I hate that I know who everybody is. I gotta get a new job.
totally wrong. He deserves to go to jail, and there will be bad karma coming his way.
Is this a joke? Did he do this on purpose? Is that the joke? Is this the joke that like, hey, here's the worst people on the internet saying this is the worst people on the internet? Oh my God.
So growing up, I love the villains. I love the bad guys. The story isn't complete without there being
So that's like the feature of all the bad people on the internet. Do they know that? Do they know they're being featured as the bad people on the internet?
fucking villain, without there being opposition. And it's wild because like everything came full circle, you know, and to a lot of people, to millions of people, you know, I'm fucked up, I'm a villain, I'm a piece of shit, I'm this grimy ass motherfucker who just doesn't give a damn about the fucking law. End-stage renal failure, man, got accused of being a fucking and guess what, motherfucker, I'm still fucking standing, I'm still walking, we in this.
Which is why people say, why should victims come forward when it never fucking matters? He's literally told you throughout this whole documentary, I'm thinking about kids, and he's right. Nothing happened. This is why I never blame victims for not coming forward. It ended up making these people relevant and rich, and I think we forget that a lot of these predators end up becoming financially successful. Society rewards them for being bold, for being themselves in a sort of ironic way. Like, we want authenticity, but the authenticity that is rewarded is the predator kind, because they are bold enough to get on a microphone in a podcast and say like, yeah, I have kids. And I think that is why the system is failing all of us, because it rewards the worst people. But it's not just the system at play. It's the ones who uphold it. It's all of us. It's those of us who participate in upholding these people as just funny. And look, I've done it too. I can't tell you how many men I'm like, oh, he's just making a joke. It's just a joke. It's not just a joke. And I would love, and I've said this on my stream channel before, I would love to trust adults with jokes. I would love to trust you with language. I would love to trust you in general, but you cannot be trusted because you are not deconstructed. You're not introspective. And so what you're actually doing is you're not just saying a joke. You're actually saying something that's true through humor to avoid responsibility in telling of the joke. And so people like me who are so good faith, or people like you who are so good faith, you look at these people and go, oh, they can't mean it though. There's no way they mean that. That's horrible. And then you find out they do. And you're like, oh, you know that idea on the internet of like, how did Nazi Germany become Nazi Germany? And you kind of realize how they did it. It's just like the same way now where people are like, oh, I'm too busy to pay attention. I can't lose my job. It's not my business. Humans are going to human everywhere you go. And because we're animals on a planet, we are not always able to really understand the depth of existence that we're experiencing. And not only will we suffer because of it, but so will others. But it's also on the other side of it, philosophically philosophically speaking, you have to radically accept that people are animals in order to also be compassionate and patient with them as they learn. So the point of this video is to kind of point out something I've been saying a long time on my channel, that we are high schoolers with money. That's what adulthood is. And I think we're all in this group project after group project, and we're disagreeing on like where to take the project, how to finish it. Some people are doing more work than others. Some people aren't doing anything. Some people aren't showing up to class, but nobody's like worse than the other person. Everybody has their reasons. And because everybody has their reasons, whether they're acceptable or not, they do exist. And so that plays into this idea of free will. How much free will do these people have to not be predators? I don't know, because I don't believe in free will. I think more or less we are trapped with the choices we're given in the exact moment we exist. And that's why when we raise kids better, we're just bringing down the probability of them ending up a white nationalist or a rapist. We're not actually guaranteeing it. And before I get taken out of context because nobody on the internet reads, I just want to point out that free will does not mean what you think it means. It doesn't mean you make choices. It means taking into consideration what data you have before making those choices. And I'm not saying that predators shouldn't be held accountable because we don't have free will. I'm saying because we might not have access to free will in the way we think, we still have to put barriers in place to keep people protected. And even though I'm anti-prisons and I believe we should abolish them, we're talking about systems of oppression that torture our loved ones. I am not talking about holding predators accountable or taking them off the streets or keeping them away from innocent people or keeping them away from present or future victims. We obviously want to prevent them from harming others. And that's really hard for people because they like to think that, no, if I just raise my kids good, they won't be a school shooter. But that's not true. Anyone could be a school shooter. Anybody could be a predator. Anybody could be a white nationalist. And there's just no way for you to guarantee your child won't be that way. So the responsibility of having a child becomes even more. But if you start to think about what a responsibility it is, you might not have kids. And if you don't have kids, okay, so the whole point of this is to say not to do it out of fear, but to do it out of knowledge, to build community with people that are trying and to accept that people will be flawed.
Love has never been a popular movement, and no one's ever wanted really to be free. The world is held together, really it is held together, by the love and the passion of very few people. Otherwise, of course, you can despair. Walk down the street of any city, any afternoon, and look around you. You gotta remember that what you're looking at is also you.
Every single one of us has problems. Every single one of us. You can't escape it. But not everybody has the problem of defending a predator. Not everybody has the problem of voting for a predator. But not everybody has the problem of, talking bad about one predator and promoting another. So again, if you hate EDP, you should be hating Trump and Andrew Tate as well. If you hate EDP because he's fat and you're fat phobic, or he's black and you're a white nationalist or a racist, or because he doesn't have a six-pack like Andrew Tate, or he doesn't have a lot of money like Andrew Tate, but you like Andrew Tate because he's in shape and he has a lot of money and he's famous, then the issue with your ethics and your morals is that it's aesthetic based.
They enjoy the innocence and having control of somebody,
Sounds like that's what you wanted to do.
It's just an ideological attack.
Nobody your age you could have hung out with.
No.
No women your age you could date. You had to pick on a 13-year-old girl.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because I try very hard to not be emotional about things, and I try very hard to think of it purely, absolutely logically. And with brutal logic, although I'm unhappy with what's happened to me, with brutal logic, part of me can understand it.
Oh my God, babe, it's a playful spank, you say. When I spank you, it's supposed to be sexy, LOL. If anything, I just bend you over and kiss your ass. Yes, well, maybe, but only if you're a good girl. What are you trying to do here with this?
What do you think I'm trying to do?
Well, it sounds like you're trying to a 13-year-old girl.
If that's what it looks like, I guess that's what it is then. I mean,
if I was an 85-year-old Romanian woman who's a judge, who doesn't speak English, and Andrew Tate walks in with his bald head and his muscles, and I look through the file and I see Ferrari, Aston Martin, Bugatti, Rimac, Kernenzeg, money, 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 money. Then I see, girls, 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 yachts, private jets, and then I have a dossier from DCOT. He might be bad of something. And there's a bunch of papers in there. And I have 10 minutes to read it all, because that's how long they have. They don't read the file at all. They just skim it. And then I stand there in English, don't speak Romanian. I didn't do it. Part of them's going to go, oh, that's bullshit. I get that part. I actually do. I'm logical enough to say to Tristan, you know what? That old lady, of course she goes. She doesn't understand what's happening. She doesn't get any of this. She doesn't even know what the internet is.
You think it's that simple?
I think it's just perception. I understand I have this perception.
Throw you in the back of my car and bring you back to my dungeon, LOL. You talk about climbing through a window. So hot and cute, and even had me j***ing off. Were you masturbating when you were talking to her?
Mm-hmm.
You sent her pictures?
Yeah.
You sent her pictures of your...
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Right, I know.
It's illegal. Had Alex Rosen not botched this, you might be in prison right now.
Thank God he didn't.
Well, you could look at it two ways. Maybe prison is where you belong because of this.
If it was where I belong, I'd be in shackles right now, so.
And I think a lot of people who are also dislike me, a lot of the reason they dislike me so much is my perception. I've had people who say, I hate what you say. I say, what do I say? And after talking to them a while, they say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Of course.
It's the perception of aggression. It's the perception of masculinity that they're afraid of. It's not even the words. They might like the words. It's my delivery. So I understand perception can be reality to a degree. So Vivian's been with me 6 years.
He's been with Vivian for 6 years, right?
Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28, Vivian's like 21.
Vivian's 21, and at this point he's been her girlfriend for 6 years. It means that they met when she was 15 years old.
I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America.
A lot of people are aesthetic based when it comes to their values. So if it looks pretty and it's packaged well and they have a nice car, how bad of a guy can they be? But that's why charismatic people use pretty privilege or white privilege or wealth privilege to sort of get away with their crimes, because you will be convinced that they will be good people because you're thinking only good people get rewarded in this life, especially in the US where we're taught that if you work hard enough, you'll be successful. If God blesses you, you'll be successful. And this is why those prosperity preachers have private jets and their congregation doesn't, because obviously you guys just aren't praying hard enough. You're not good enough. But if you were good enough, God would reward you. It's all connected. And then what's sort of ironic about all of this is that it's mostly a conversation about men succeeding under patriarchy and capitalism. It's not even really talking about women, because the only thing women can get in this world is to be attached to those successful men. So of course, Andrew Tate groomed teenagers in order to work with him. And then they ended up recruiting other women into Andrew Tate's fold. And all these women end up being victims. But of course, on the other side of it, you'll have people say, oh, look at these women. They're just as bad as these men. They were targeted as children, a lot of them. So again, the question is, would these women be in this business if Andrew Tate didn't target them? Would these women be talking to these older men if men didn't talk to them and romantic movies didn't tell them to do this? And same for these men. Would these men be predators if society didn't encourage them and support them in being predators? And I don't know, because we don't have enough research to know, because we don't guide children away from these opportunities. We encourage it, if anything else. Look at the media, look at movies, look at TV shows, look at your friends, your family, how you guys talk about people.
What'd you say? Fuck the woman, fuck the woman. What? No, wait. We love women. We love women. We love women. But not like transgenders.
Yes, sir.
We love everybody. No.
Look how we talk about everyone around the world. It's very objectifying. It's very entitled. It's very survival of the fittest. That is the toxic independent thinking instead of the collective thinking that we should all come together to make the world a better place. Mind you, we're all going to still have problems. Okay, so this is the other side of it. There is no leftist utopia. There's simply us radically accepting that people are flawed, knowing we all have problems, and trying to do something about it. Because the truth is, there's no such thing as a completely good person, and there's no such thing as a completely bad person. We're deeply flawed animals on a planet, learning to live with each other, and it's gonna get messy. So the best thing we can do, and the greatest line in the sand we can draw, is the targeting and abuse of children. It feels to me like the easiest moral test to give someone, but people fail it constantly.
In a way, I'm kind of glad that this whole incident did happen, because it got me to understand and to realize who my true friends are.
Oh, brother! Almost all of EDP's friends blocked him.
Name's Jimmy. Well, James, go by Jimmy. Been a friend of Bryant's since technically middle school, into high school, and into adulthood. Never a dull moment being friends with EDP. There's always some kind of funny shit going on. I mean, it's just one of the coolest cats I know. I would say EDP is completely innocent. Basically, he was just set up on some bullshit. I mean, we've all texted back somebody we had no business texting back. EDP is not a pedophile. He's never been a pedophile. He doesn't look at children in that way, or young people in that way. I have 2 children. I will let both my children be around EDP.
And I'm not talking shit. I don't want Andrew Tate to look at this video or this documentary and think that I'm talking shit. Motherfucker, I idolize you, bro. You feel me? But come on. Jordan Peterson, you definitely watch. Let's stop lying. Craziest place I actually did my shit is in a fucking Walgreens bathroom. In the girls' bathroom, by the way. I wanted to make it, well, I beat off in the girls' bathroom because I wanted to make it that much more fucking pleasurable and fucking intense.
We've met some of your fans, and we got the impression they were all male fans, the ones that we talked to, and that they were struggling with their manhood, and that you give them this message that it's okay to be a man.
It's not okay It's necessary. What the hell are we going to do without men?
Why is EDP so gross, but Andrew Tate is your hero?
Our homeboy Andrew Tate, Top G, locked up, gone.
Controversial social media influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate are under arrest in Miami.
There's a lot of people saying that they're not going to come out. Is he actually a criminal, or are they trying to put away a man that's trying to help men, like, be men?
4, 5, 6, 7. Free Top G!
The two could face extradition to the UK, where British officials say they're bringing additional rape charges against them in their ongoing cases there.
Who's to say what's true, what's not true? Are those pictures real or are they fake?
That's crazy. I never thought about that. You mean they would fake evidence to put them away?
Free Top G! Free Top G! Free Top G!
You guys heard me shit on all these motherfuckers, you know, people who I would kill, burn, torture, stab. I want to introduce you guys to the real fucking gangsters of the fucking internet, you know what I mean? First up, we got Andrew Tate. He likes to preach about men and women not being equal, because they're not fucking equal. Next up, we got my motherfucking main bitch, Donald fucking Trump. We got my man, Joe Rogan. This guy's a fucking beast, man. I love this bald-headed ass bitch, you know what I mean? We got Fresh and Fit. In his podcast, he's always shitting on fucking women. Yeah, it's fucking, I love that bitch. Andrew Tate's brother, so yeah, you already fucked. That's enough said. On to my motherfucking main nigga, Ben Shapiro. Listen to him, and you'll be great in life. Sneeko, guy is cool as fuck. Sneeko, if you're watching this shit, come on out to Vegas, man. I'll treat you to some fucking tacos. Next up, we got Pearl Davis. Love this hoe, because she shits on women, and she is a fucking woman, you know what I mean? These are the certified OGs of the internet, and I couldn't imagine a world without them.
Nobody knows the difference between men feeling entitled to your bodies and women feeling the need to subject themselves out of survival to that patriarchal standard. So all of us must liberate ourselves individually, right? I'm not going to wait for my homophobic family to be pro-gay before I come out of the closet. I'm going to liberate myself. And two, I'm going to acknowledge that I live in a homophobic world and I still have to deal with the system that is. We have to do both things, and because we're animals on a planet and because we have a limited time here, it is our individual responsibility to work on ourselves to be better for the collective. Not because anyone's telling you to, not because you have to, but if you want to, that's what you have to do. And this is where I just sum up the idea of free will and choice. How much free will can we have if the world is the way that it is? And also, because there's no objective morality, how could I even sit here and say that being a child predator is wrong when there's no such thing as objective morality? It's because I subjectively have drawn a line in the sand and I subjectively am choosing to abide by it. And I do recommend people, if they care about the safety of children and the future of the world, that they also participate in protecting kids, the most vulnerable group on the planet. Because right now the world is so centered on the ego of adults that it really blames children for everything. Children are manipulative.
I got no problem with you crying. Something bad happens, you're sad about something, cry, I'm gonna hug you, I'm gonna love you. But you cry because you don't get what you want, I'm not consoling you. I'm sorry. Like, that's not a reason to cry. You're trying to manipulate me is what you're doing. And if I go over there and give you a hug, I've just boom, granted you success. You just won that one, my son.
Here's a little hot take of the day from a child therapist, but based on brain science. So let's talk about those defiant kids or those manipulative kids. If you are talking about a young child being manipulative, I want you to understand that young children, especially those 5 and under, do not yet have the brain power or the brain capacity to be able to manipulate. Manipulation requires the frontal lobe to be at least somewhat developed or in an advanced stage of development, because it requires planning ahead, it requires impulse control, and little kids just don't have that yet.
Maybe she's sort of using the whole situation as leverage to boost her music career and such. So, again, while she's technically, she's a victim, I think she...
Gideon hates Jake Paul. I mean, don't we all? Gideon quit YouTube because of the EP situation. Gideon uses Christianity to cover his tracks. Believe that. Is this EDP's voice I'm hearing?
He's kind of using the whole situation as...
No, it's Skeeter! It was Skeeter's voice? I thought it was EDP accusing her of doing it to boost her music career? The is accusing one of the victims of utilizing this... What?
The whole boost her music career and such. So, again, while she's technically, she's a...
That is just absolutely insane. Guys, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter who she is or what she's doing. She was victimized by EDP. Victims don't have to be perfect to be victims.
Yes. Now, me personally, am I an opportunist? Yes, I am. But I don't...
Girl doesn't even know what that means.
think there's anything wrong with that. as long as you're not harming anybody. And I don't think.
See, she doesn't know what opportunist means. Opportunist requires you to hurt people because you're an opportunist. She doesn't even know what it means. She's using words that doesn't follow. You know what I'm saying? She's like, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. But that's not what an opportunist. Okay.
I was harming anybody. And especially when you're my age, if you're 16, people are going to think that you're young and dumb. So you kind of have to be an.
You are young and dumb. That's why you need to be protected. You don't even know what words mean. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I'm saying these men took advantage of her. They took advantage of her.
Opportunists. You have to make your own opportunities. You cannot be waiting for them. But this entire situation was not that at all.
Look, I know a lot of victims think to themselves, this is a Diane arc in BoJack Horseman, which I reviewed for members. All 6 seasons. Diane felt like, what was the point of all of her suffering if it didn't get her a book deal or if she didn't get popular? That's very common. I used to think that too. I used to think as a traumatized queer kid, what was the point of it if I didn't go viral? And so in my very younger years, I was like trying to go viral and trying to like at least find success in being gay. And then it never happened for me. And I had to actually do the work and go to therapy. And I was like, oh shit. And then now I have a successful YouTube career. But this is why I'm saying about victims. They really think like my pain has to be for something. If I'm going to suffer through this much pain, then I might as well become rich or go viral. And this is why a lot of really famous people are super fucked up. Because, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so I think that's really important to focus on. Okay, right? Children are manipulative. Children are seducing these adults. Children are stealing. Children are lying. Children are children. And the adults are literally held to less accountability than kids sometimes.
If it was legal, would you have had sex with Kayla Hastings?
If it was legal? Oh, I would have fucking turned that ass out. I would have fucking ate her ass out. My man ate a funnel cake about her shit. You know what I mean?
He was never charged with any wrongdoing. And I think that we need to examine that and deconstruct it. So once again, if you hate EDP, I hope you hate Andrew Tate too. And even past that, I hope you learn to hate nobody. And I hope you learn to do the right thing because it's the right thing and not because everybody else is doing it.